the 2014 Town Hall debate. My next question goes out to Mr. Patel. This is from several citizens from District 248F. What is your plan for getting rid of the national debt? Little by little?
Yes. Basically, what we're going to do is, right now, a balanced budget can't be achieved at the moment. Right now, we're in $17 trillion in debt right now. But what I plan to do, we're going to invest into growing industries right now, such as construction, which is the highest growing industry right now, and also health and social assistance, which is projected 1/3 of the growth of the industry right now. So I believe if you invest in these, it will make our economy better. It will create more jobs. It will reduce our national deficit. So right now we can't cut the deficit all at once, but between my 4 years in office right now, I believe we'll cut the deficit by a quarter.
Thank you. Do any of the other candidates have anything to add?
You keep talking about wanting to invest money into things, and yet you want tax cuts and you have no plan for finding money.
I forgot to mention that we're going to eliminate tax loopholes for businesses, because some businesses right now don't even pay taxes. So that's we're going to eliminate that. We're going to end subsidies of fossil fuel companies. Also going to end the war in Afghanistan. So that's going to give us some money back as well.
Kirtan, I have a question. You say that you will cut taxes, you will end the war in Afghanistan, you will focus on America, but yet you're raising the military budget. Can you please explain the logic, if there is any, behind that?
We're raising taxes on the higher class. We'll pay more to help make this America better protected.
But if you have higher taxes and it doesn't pay off to live in the United States, these rich people with their businesses will just move abroad. That's what's happening with these loopholes right now.
And
They're
you're saying you
looking to
want
Ireland.
tax cuts. Raising taxes on other people is not tax cuts for everyone.
Tax cuts for the middle class, that's what I'm saying.
What
Not
about
for
the poor?
You're raising the military budget, but you're saying we'll lower taxes, but then you're saying we won't fight because we'll focus internally.
I'm not saying we won't fight. I'm just saying making it strong so we can get protected at home and if we're involved in
But the
outside.
United States has the largest military budget than the next 8 countries combined.
So you want me to reduce the budget?
Well, here's how your plan doesn't add up, because you want to increase the military budget, but you don't want to use it. So you're basically wasting the taxpayers' money to go into this for no purpose. Secondly, you want to put people back to work. People need to understand that it's not unemployment that raises the national deficit, it's government spending that increases the national deficit. And you want to increase the government spending. There's no equation that amounts to increasing government spending and lowering of the national debt. It just doesn't work that way.
Thank you, candidates. Our next question goes out to Ms. Bosa. This is from District 230, and they would like to know, how do you plan to improve the economy? How will you create jobs?
Well, for jobs, nothing is guaranteed, and any candidate here who can promises without lying through their teeth that there's not a single candidate who can promise that every single person in America will have a job at all times. But if people go to college and are taught the skills they need for their choice career, we can maximize the number of people with jobs. Companies want to hire people who know what they're doing and are good at it. Providing a better education will also help Americans not only to compete in the US job market, but also to compete against Europe, Russia, and China. According to the 2012 Program for International Student Assessment, American students had below average scores, making America ranked 27th in the world in mathematics alone. There's been no significant change thus far, but that needs to change. We are the last remaining superpower in the world. We need our brain power not only to match, but to exceed our firepower.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, I'd like to say that, as I mentioned, no candidate can promise jobs. The government can't provide jobs as much as it can provide conditions for jobs. That's why the Juliet Party wants to follow what we did with the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, which was enacted in the 90s by Bill Clinton, and reduced import taxes and trade barriers between the United States, Mexico, and Canada. And what we've seen is great economic growth between all 3 nations. So what I'd like the U.S. to do is to continue these collaborations with different countries in reducing these trade barriers and import taxes and embargoes especially. Because if we have a free market, we can reach more people can reach us, there's more competition. And with supply and demand, the prices will be lower.
Jakub talks a lot about NAFTA, and do agree with him to some extent. However, if you notice when he was talking, he talks about the economy going up and taxes going down. What did he forget? He didn't say any jobs would be created. Under this, jobs will be lost because the markets overseas will increase while ours will decrease.
Zach, what you're not seeing though is that with free trade,
You want to finish,
we
please?
can
With the echo party.
Candidates, thank you. We're moving on to our next question. From District 231, I have a question for all of our candidates. Do you have an environmentally focused plan for our country? Starting with Mr. Patel.
Yes. Well, basically, we're more environmental if we want to go green. Because if we don't treat the earth right now, we don't treat it properly, then the earth won't be here anymore. Right now, we want stricter pollution regulations because pollution actually affects low-income and unfunded communities right now. So that would make them more sick, and that would cause the government to pay more money into their healthcare bill. So if you reduce pollution, then all these effects won't happen. Also, we're going to enact other stuff to help the environment, such as the balloons blow at. And also, we're going to be more energy independent. We want to have more clean energy. We're going to do it slowly because all of it can't be transitioned as right now, but we'll do it slowly, little by little, so we're going to become less dependent on foreign oil.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. The Joliet Party believes that the environment should be protected. It should be one of the areas, even though we generally want to decrease federal oversight, the environment is something that we do care about, and we would like to ensure that the environment the earth that we get, we return it to the future generations in as good or even better condition. That being said, we'd like regulations to be environmental and not political, as we've seen with the DP Horizon in the Gulf of Mexico, and also the Valdez of the ExxonMobil. These huge oil spills are occurring because these oil companies are exploiting these loops through the codes and through their environmental regulations. And that puts ecosystems and the United States citizens at risk. That being said, we'd like the environment to be a key point in our platform, and we want to protect the environment because it does contribute to the health of our society.
Thank you.
Foxtrot cares about the environment. Right now, the states are all in different places on environmental regulation. But as of 2012, 30 governments and DC all adopted mandatory renewable portfolio standards, which require a certain amount of electricity to be generated from alternative sources. We need to make this national legislation. We need it to be consistent across the U.S. Another thing that Foxtrot will do is enforce a mandatory recycling program for the entire country. According to the EPA, the average American produces 4.5 pounds of waste a day. And all of that waste goes into landfills. Instead of spending more money to open up more landfills, we should invest that money into research for sustainable energy.
Thank you.
Yes, within the Echo Party, the environment is very important, both for right now, the people of the United States, and maintaining it for the future. I was the #1 advocate out of all these candidates for the introduction and further implementation of clean energy within the United States. And I feel that it's very important to release ourselves from our dependence on foreign oil and to create jobs and research in America so that we can be the leaders throughout the world in the implementation and use of clean and domestic energy for now in our generations to come.
Thank you, candidates. This concludes the third part of our segment. We will now take a short commercial break. Thank you.